Hello, Internet. I'm Matt Haas, and this is financial advice I've picked up along the way. My son, who is 21 years old, asked me for some investment advice, so I put this together and kind of went a little crazy. There's also a second video about general life advice, and the link for that is in the description. All right, so we will get into it. Before we start, I just want to take a quick second. Liberty. I love this word. In America, we have liberty. And what this essentially means, obviously the definition is right here, is if you want something and you work hard for it, you can have it. No one's going to give it to you. No one's going to make sure you get it. But if you really want something in America, you can have it. And also, you should dream and plan and act. If you don't dream, you'll meander through life and it won't be that fulfilling. And then plan for your dreams and then take action. Don't be docile. Take action. All right, here we go. Some overall concepts. First thing is, have an emergency fund always available because emergencies will happen. And instead of going into debt, you'll have a small pile of money to pay for unexpected things. They will happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Pay yourself first. And we're going to get into all of this. Earn more than you spend. Of course, that's how you become rich. You can't become rich without that. It's so simple. Credit cards are awful. Debt is awful. Stay away from debt. Having a single checking account and savings account to run your life is no way to live. Spread it out. Talk about that as well. You control your destiny. So control it. Make things happen. Don't be complacent. Keep good company. I mean, the friends you keep really do impact your life. And then if you want to fix or help others, make sure you are taken care of first. You can't help others if you are a wreck. All right, let's get into a few things here. And we're going to get to investing. Just hang with me. All of this is important. Don't skip ahead. Employer income. The way you're on track now is you will likely be an employee, which is great. But here's the thing. You're going to get into this system of being an employee. Well, you already are, but things will seem structured. Things will seem rigid. No, ask and push. You can ask for raises. You can ask for more benefits. You can ask for more perks if you're doing the work to back it up. You are your own best advocate. Show your superiors your extra work and your extra quality. Tell them and show them. Show is in bold on purpose here. And then promotions happen and extra stuff granted to employees happens after you've been doing more. You know, don't feel entitled to more. Do more, show more. Be the next role before you're actually promoted. That's how it works. And the opposite of that is, and this is more if you're an employer, if you've hired people underneath you, probably not going to happen in your trajectory. But employees quit before they quit. So they start dialing it in early. It's just a concept you need to know. Passive income. Side hustles, baby. The gig economy. This is it. Now, I did put a cringy term in here called youth. I know. I'm old. But they know about passive income. They are all about passive income. Kids now are smart. And they're doing something generations before didn't do. Pop-ups generation. It was all punch the clock, climb the corporate ladder. My generation, somewhere in between. And then your generation, it's all about, I'm spending money because this money's going to earn me money. But passive doesn't mean you don't do hard work, and passive doesn't mean you don't do marketing. And then do a Google search for FIRE. It's a new term called Financial Independence Retire Early. And it's only available to people your age. Business, if you do start your own business, this is just high level stuff. You only need 4 things to have a business. You need to be an expert. You need to sell a service or a product. You need to have a way to get paid, PayPal, credit card processing, bank accounts, things like that. And marketing. Marketing is the key to life. You can't do anything without people. You can't reach people without marketing. Marketing is a major piece of success, especially in business. 80% of your effort should be on marketing. 20% should be actually doing the product or service that you're doing. And then to be successful, especially in a service type thing, over communicate and over deliver. The worst thing you can do is dead air. Something's bad's going to happen and you're silent about it, and then that bad things happen. That bad things does end up happening and you've been silent the whole time. Bad. Don't do that. Do not do that. And if you do over communicate and over deliver, it'll be word of mouth. You won't have to do the hard marketing part. The marketing will happen automatically. And then good thing about side hustles and small businesses is you can write stuff off. It's a concept of, oh, you've made $5,000 in profit. Oh, but look at this. You bought a $3,000 MacBook Pro. Well, guess what? You've only earned $2,000. So it's a way to avoid taxes. And taxes, as sucky as they are, need to be thought of. All right, debt. Before we talk about investment, we have to talk about debt. Credit cards. You don't have a credit card now, don't get a credit card. Rock your check card. Stay away from credit. The credit cards steal from you. 10,000 millionaires were surveyed. Almost all of them don't have credit cards. They don't. APR, it steals from you in the present and steals from you in the future. Look at those percentages, 8.9, 12.9. Those are pretty good APRs. That's nothing. I mean, that is so astronomically high, and your investment returns are so much smaller. The easiest, if you can't become wealthy with credit cards, the first step you should do is pay off your credit cards, because that's the most bang for your buck. You're not paying 8.9% anymore. If you could even get 8.9, you'll see that's crazy high. Oh, gambling. Read the fine print of the credit cards. If you get gambling chips at a casino with credit, it's instantly high percentage and APR. And then if you have to do that, you've got other life problems. You know, we have a slide here on gambling coming up. And then, see, I always thought, oh, well, I'm having a 0% APR, 18-month window, like new member sign up, and I was gaming the system. Guess what? You still owe the money. You still owe the principal. You can't get out of paying the principal. It doesn't matter. Even at zero interest, it's not a type of thing. And then credit card points and miles and cash back, it's all BS. It's all BS. The reality is, when you lay down the plastic, it doesn't feel hard on you. It's just a receipt. You're done. When you're 100, 200, 300, when you're peeling off $100 bills, you feel that. So even if you can't outsmart credit card companies, they're multi-billion-dollar companies. They have psychological profiles on you and your spending. You can't beat them. Don't think, oh, I'm putting one over on the credit card companies because I'm using my points or my miles or my cash back. No. Look at millionaires. They don't have credit cards. Now, sometimes when you travel, it makes sense to have an actual credit card, like flying and hotel bookings, check cards. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but we'll talk more about that. Loans. Loans are good for big purchases that will earn you money or keep a roof over your head. So cars and mortgages. Really, you shouldn't take out loans for most other things. And, get them through a bank. Don't go through shady places to get loans. And don't get loans for stupid stuff. Debt to make money. You'll see a lot of this. It's very dangerous. It can be done. Go slow if you're going to do it. I recommend not doing it. One example would be go into debt to buy a property and then rent the property, and then your renters will pay your mortgage and then some, and then you'll be profit. That's a whole business onto itself. It's a whole headache onto itself. It can be done. It's best to be avoided. And if you do something like that, you've got to go slow. And by slow, I mean Imagine if the whole thing crumbles, you'll be on the hook. They could call that debt, So, and don't do any seminars, We're going to teach you how to flip houses or something. No, we're going to teach you how to be successful doing this technique on the internet. No, all of those. No. I'll show you how to make money. It's not anything you're going to get at a seminar paying $397 for a package of stuff. That's never the way to go. Savings. Okay, we're going to get to investing. We got to talk about savings first. You got to save. All right. Credit unions. I love credit unions. The benefits are too long to list. Credit unions, you are a shareholder. When and if they have extra funds, which they try and break even, but when and if they have extra funds, it goes to you. It doesn't go to the shareholders of like a traditional bank, because you are the shareholder. Does that make sense? Sometimes credit unions do not offer the most competitive mortgage rates. If that's the case, you should go to a bank, a real bank, not a credit union, but a bank. But other than, well, we're going to talk more about that too. All right, checkings and savings accounts. This, as I mentioned, you got to have more than one. You can't have one checking and one savings account where all your money goes in and all your money comes out. That's no way to live. Have more than one. You can see I have bills, have one for vacations or big purchases, have ones for your mortgage. Your mortgage or your rent should be a separate checking. You can have more than one. You're not limited to one checking account from an institution. You can have lots of them. This is not an investment. This is not where you keep large sums of money. The APR is very low, if at all. You need a checking and savings account for transactions. All right. Next, we've got, flip it over there, high yield savings account. These are cool. Okay, they're all online. They're not brick and mortar, and they have a higher return. Now, it's not as high as you can get with mutual funds and other investments, but it's a good place to keep a medium-sized stack of cash for unexpected purchases. Might as well keep it there, because if you shouldn't keep money in your bank, you shouldn't keep money in your credit union, because you're not earning that much. This is a way to earn more money. Immigrant Direct and Affirm are places that can give you that higher APY, which is kind of like APR. APY is a little less good. Takes a day or two to get your money in and out. So you can't have it that moment because you have to set up a transfer. But other than that, it's liquid. It's fast. Investing. Okay, this is what you want. Here we go. We're having fun now. 401k. You should have had a 401k by now. I know you're not earning much at your job that you're using for college, and that's fine. This is managed through your employer, 401ks. It's always an employer type things. Dollar cost averaging is the best thing under the sun. Short answer is you invest the same amount over time, and then mathematically it's in your favor. You can see the bars down here. The lower bar is dollar cost averaging, and the top bar is one lump sum only. And you can see this is only 11 years there. You think 30 years till you retire or more. So dollar cost averaging, man, it's think millions. You're going to have millions of dollars when you retire. It's also pre-taxed income. So taxes are 45% really out of your check. So you're not paying that 45%. You're getting that for free in the present. Now you'll pay taxes when you take it out, but so what? You're using free money, or you're using untaxed money, and that can invest and grow, and then it pays dividends and gets reinvested, all that untaxed money, all your working life. Set it up ASAP. Don't wait. And then you can take them from job to job. You can roll them over. Got to have a 401k. And then do the matching. Employers match. This is free money. So they'll say, like, if you give 3% of your pay into the 401k, we'll match it. And then for the fourth, fifth, 6%, we'll match 50%. They'll do something like that. It usually breaks around 6%. So if you give 6%, your employer is going to match it. Always take it at least to the match, to the 6%. If you could do 10, I recommend 10%. And then once you get going and comfortable, 15%. But 10%, if you do 10% of your check starting now until you retire, multiple millions of dollars you'll have at retirement. 10%. That's all you need, 10%. And it comes out of your check, super easy. IRA. This is the retirement account you manage yourself. If you have a 401k, you technically don't need them. Sometimes it makes sense to have an IRA on top of a 401k. That's not always the case. And they have Roth and they have traditional. Roth is different. Roth is after tax dollars. And then it makes sense to do this too. So they both have pros and both have cons. People love the Roth because you've already paid the taxes present day. So think 30 years from now. Do you think taxes are going to be the same? No, taxes are going to be higher. So you can get away with the lower current rate taxes because historically taxes go up. Come on, you know government. Taxes never go down. Taxes never stay the same. So Roth makes a lot of sense. IRA. Mutual funds. This is it. This is what you should do. This should be your primary vehicle for investment. And the same dollar cost averaging applies. A mutual fund is many companies under one fund, so there's less risk. And they have mutual funds that sort of mirror the S&P 500. That's the top 500 earning companies in America. And then, it's sort of like the pulse of the economy or how those 500 companies are doing. They have mutual funds like that. Choose that or choose an international one or choose both an international and a S&P 500. Set it and forget it. And you can just auto draft from your checking account, $25 a month even. And then you'll have like a couple $1,000s in there a few years later. And then if you need a couple $1,000s, boom, you can get it out of your mutual funds. It takes a couple days to get the money. It's not instant. It takes about 4 or 5 days. No biggie. But yeah, set this up. And then if you have extra money, like say you've paid all your bills, you've bought all the food, everything's covered, you have extra money, throw it in the mutual funds. This is where it lives, and it grows and grows and grows. Stock market. Never day trade. Day trading is not a game for most people. Dollar cost averaging. You put money in when the market's high, you put money in when the market's low, you put money in, you put money in, you put money in. You keep putting money in at regular intervals. And the stock market isn't like that. You have to pay for every trade. A trade is a purchase or a sell. And sometimes it's like $19. So small transactions kind of don't make sense because that fees are hitting you. E-Trade is one company that can do this. There's lots of them. I bought $1,000 of Apple stock in 1997. It was $20K about 15 years later. It was a lot of fun. That helped pay for your car. I cashed a lot of that out and put it down on your car to have lower car payments. Do it for fun. Most months you shouldn't even touch your stock market thing. I do it for companies I'm passionate about. I love tech. I follow tech. I make that. That's kind of how I do it. It's just for fun. Just for fun. And all of this, you're taxed on the profit. So if you sell and you've earned a bunch of money, that's going to count as income. You're going to owe taxes on it. Gold and precious metals. Do not invest in gold and precious metals. Millionaires don't do it. They don't do it for a reason. Just don't do it. And the fun thing about gold and precious metals is, with the exception of like a 1% variance, the price, the value, I should say, of precious metals stays the same. It's the dollar that's tanking. And it's that difference between the dollar and that's what makes gold worth more dollars over time. It's not that the gold is getting more valuable. It's that the dollar is getting less valuable. And still, the historical returns on gold and precious metals, they can't touch what mutual funds can do. Let's talk about cryptocurrency. I would treat this like the precious metals and gold slide above. It's not an investment. It's currency. It's literally in the name, cryptocurrency. And then, of course, never day trade on this stuff. The only way this will be stable and a less risky investment is when a majority of people use this for everyday purchases. That's not happening in 2020, probably won't happen for 5 or 10 years. There is also no government oversight on cryptocurrency. And I know what you're thinking. I want the government to stay out of my life. Well, no, you want it in this particular case because insider trading is harshly punished. And if you know what insider trading is, it really doesn't really even seem all that bad. For example, if you know someone from a company and they tell you, oh, next week we're filing for bankruptcy, and then you go sell that stock because you know bad things are coming, they'll put you in jail for 20 years and give you up to a $5 million fine. The FEC cracks down on this all the time, and they love making examples out of people who get caught insider trading. Pump and dump schemes. This is also something very illegal. This is manipulating the market. You can get 1,000 people to invest 1,000 a week for 3 months, and then within 5 minutes on a given date and time, they all sell it, and it just tanks. It's manipulating the market, and it is not allowed. Totally fine on cryptocurrency. There's even mailing lists you can buy into from companies called pumpanddump.com. It's crazy. Very volatile. Treat it like you're buying a stock on the stock market. Put a small percentage of your money into it one time and just watch it go over time. Don't day trade. Don't do dollar cost averaging. Treat it as something fun with a small amount of funds. Because I know it looks like it's going gangbusters. Well, you know what? It could all fall out. The stock market has tripwires that will shut the stock market down if something crazy happens. That didn't happen in the 20s, and all of America went destitute. Those safeguards aren't in place with cryptocurrency, and people manipulate these markets all the time. Litecoin and all some of these other smaller ones, yeah, they seem like a good deal. You can really get hurt. Just play with a small percentage of fund money. If at all, I wouldn't touch it. Insurance. You're going to need insurance. You should have insurance, all kinds of insurance, but it should never be an investment. The term annuity is used by insurance companies because they wanted to get more money out of people, and they decided to do investment stuff alongside life insurance and other things. If you hear the word annuity, don't. Insurance is not an investment. There's no millionaire that got to be a millionaire because they invested through a financial vehicle, through an insurance company. Just don't do it. I have some stuff here about cars too. I know a lot about cars. Shop around for insurance. Don't be loyal to an car insurance company or a home insurance company. Shop around. It's all policies are policies, And then sometimes when you get a new policy, new member, you got the lower intro, Shop around. It doesn't hurt to shop around. Bring your own insurance before you buy a car. It sucks to be dealing with everything you have to deal with when you're buying a car. Then to also at the dealership table figure out insurance. It's just a big pain in the butt. And then don't lease. Buy the car outright. If you have to get a loan for it, make payments, and then eventually it'll be paid off, and then you won't have car payments. Car payments hinder wealth. They slow people down, and people buy way too much car than they need. Millionaires usually drive junkers. They really do, because they know they didn't get to be a millionaire by buying flashy, unnecessary cars. Gambling. Few fun things about gambling. Rich people don't gamble. They just don't do it. Casinos were built on losers. You can't afford to build a big casino building if people are winning. Come on. Limit what you're going to spend. Stick to it. Don't go over. If you're getting hurt at the table, just stop and walk away. Never try and get back. Never try and dig yourself out of a debt at the gambling table. It's just should be for fun. Never get up after you win. So if you get blackjack, you don't take your chips and walk away. You play a second hand until you lose, and then you walk away. Don't walk away a winner. State lotteries. Oh my God! In 2018, Pennsylvania earned $4.5 billion in revenue. Billion with a B. A billion is astronomically huge. It's insane. Winning the lottery, you'll never win the lottery. Racetracks, pop-up. My pop-up, not your pop-up, but pop-up's father, my grandfather, he used to love going to the track. He always did small wages, nothing extravagant. He just enjoyed it. He enjoyed winning. He enjoyed, the fun of it all. And that's the way to do it. And if you're playing blackjack and you get an 11, you always have to double your bet instantly. Now, my type of gambling, see, I look for the good odds. I paid that songwriter and animator $300 to make that video that I entered into the DreamHost contest. We won an all expenses paid trip to Los Angeles for 2 people, you and I. Remember that? That was worth it. It was winnable. The odds of winning the lottery it's harder to win the lottery than it is to get struck by lightning. Like literally it is. And then I recently spent $160 for an artist to do some images that I turned into an animation that I entered into a contest that could get me $10,000. That's an acceptable gamble. And if the Powerball is like 350 million, I will buy a ticket. Like that I'll do, but just for funsies, because it's nice, even though it's statistically impossible to win. That amount of money, it's kind of fun. All right. Few things to continue to be smart where it counts regarding money. Budget. Every dollar should have a name. And if you don't know how to budget, just keep track of things. Just throw open a spreadsheet and dump it in. Don't even worry about it. It'll kind of make sense over time. And then spend less than you make, of course. But you got to know what's coming in and you got to know what's going out. If you're just blindly, if things are hitting your checking account, auto pay, you can get out of whack fast. Just keep on it. Just keep on it and think through the stuff. Pay yourself first. Oh, this is wonderful. So those first 4 bullets are where the paycheck should go. Your company can do this. They can split the money up into different institutions. So it'll go right into your 401k. It'll go right into the checking account of your mortgage or rent. Figure out what that is, and then figure out what you need to put in there, and then that's all hands off. Your mortgage company will auto draft from just that checking account. It'll never go to zero because the only purpose is for your rent. And then have a vacation savings. Again, spread your money out. Do it automatically. So you put a small amount into that every paycheck. And then boom, it lands in your general checking account where everything happens. Then from that checking account, you can auto draft. Other companies can go into that general checking account and pull out stuff. Do your mutual funds. Do $50 a month into mutual funds. Do $25 into the high yield savings accounts. And then all of your bills, your water, sewer, trash, electric, gas, internet, mobiles, phone, all of that can kind of auto draft from your general checking account. And then as needed, buy the food that you need, do the entertainment that you want. And then if you want to purchase crypto or do like a one-time stock market thing, you can do that as needed from your general checking account. And, you might want to take it a step further, and that bills portion, you can kind of figure out what your bills are. Maybe have a different checking account for that and just have that for just, predictable, repeatable bills like water, sewer, trash, and things like that. That way it won't overdraft. That's the whole point. Taxes. Listen, taxes are theft. I hate taxes, but no one becomes a millionaire without thinking about taxes. You got to do it. And the goal is to have your withholdings from your paycheck equal the amount that you'll owe at the end of the year. You want to break even. People are like, yes, I'm getting my check back from the government. They're thinking that's a win. That's not a win. You're loaning the government extra money at 0% interest. So break even. Act like a millionaire, even though you're not. Truly rich people, they don't look rich. You'll never know that they're rich. They don't show off their wealth. So you shouldn't either. Rich people go to the Bahamas for a week and come back. No one knows that they were gone. They don't do it for that. You don't. They enjoy their money and they don't care what other people think. And that's the way you should think too. You can either look rich or you can be rich. Be rich. Cars are a big reason people don't get wealth. That car payment every month is a substantial amount of money, and it's a weight around your neck. If you have $500 a month car payment, if you invested $500 a month in mutual funds rather than pay it on a car, over time, see, time is on your side. You've got 30 years to retirement or more. 30. All right. Oh my gosh, for friends, you never, ever, under any circumstances, co-sign a loan. If your buddy's in bad shape, co-signing is not what you want. It'll wreck your credit, and they go after the co-signer first. If there's any sign of trouble, if there's a co-signer, it's right to the co-signer. So don't do it. Don't loan your friends money. The borrower is slave to the lender. There's always that weird social dynamic. Don't go. Now, you can give your friends money without an expectation of being paid back. That's what you should do if you want to help them. Don't loan them money. And just think about the weird social stuff. Oh, so a friend owes you $1,000. Oh, but then they go on vacation and they haven't paid you back yet. You're like, you still owe me money. Like, what's up? Like, it's gonna get weird. It's gonna get weird. And that's the funny thing. If it's a small amount, and you don't want to just tell someone to F off, which I don't have any problem telling anyone to F off. You can say, oh, you want to borrow $60? Okay, here's $60. Then they don't pay it back. Then they're out of your life. They won't come back to you. It's just a fun. Seriously, help your friends out if you want to help them out. Give money. Terry, you remember Terry? He came to me. Now, he's a good guy. He's salt of the earth guy, never hurt nobody, works hard. He had some hard times and he wanted to borrow money from me. I'm like, come on over. I gave him $175. And I'm like, look, I don't want it back. He goes, oh, I'm going to pay you back. Don't worry about it. I'm like, no, you're not. I don't want it back. He goes, what? He goes, well, we'll see about that. I'm like, no, don't pay me. And now if I'd asked, now I had the money, I work hard for my money. If I want to help him out, I can help him out. I wanted to help him out and I did. But, then there was no weirdness because we're square. I mean, there's nothing hanging over you. Don't loan your friends money, not even small amounts. It gets weird fast. Sometimes it gets weird with them. Sometimes it gets weird with you. Most of the times it gets weird both. Don't do it. Children, kids, you already know this. Kids are expensive. They're a blessing. No regrets. I love you, son. But the point I'm making here is they can derail your life if you have them too early. You need to have your career in place, then have children. You can't catch up. This whole thing up until this point is you got to start young and keep doing it. People who have kids have to focus on the kids, and then they can't build the base that can then grow and double and triple later. You can't catch up. And then, penicillin reduces the effectiveness of birth control, and then a woman who stops birth control is extra fertile after they've stopped it. So just be careful. People who have trouble having children will go on birth control. It sounds the opposite, and then they'll stop it, and then they'll get pregnant once they're off it. Just be careful. Giving. Okay. Donations. Be charitable, but understand the percentage of your donation that's actually going to the cause. Some of these companies, 70% of the income goes to pay the CEO's salary and the top executives. That's bunk. Don't do that. Be deliberate about it. There are many horrible choices. Get the receipts. It's tax deductible. It'll lower your income. You'll be taxed on a lower rate by how much you donate. Just be deliberate. Don't go off the cuff and go crazy with those donations. Do your due diligence when you give. And then gratuity, tipping. Don't be cheap. Tip. 20% is good. Don't go crazy with it. Fun tip, if you have like a crew doing a construction project on your home or a business, buy them pizza. You want to be their best friend, because when they're hammering that nail, they're going, oh, that guy got me pizza. I'm going to hammer a little bit better. And you have to live with the work that they're doing. So anyone that's working on your house, treat them so well. And then if you're at the club and it's busy, drop a huge tip on the bartender. They'll remember you. And then when there's, 3 people deep at the bar, you're the guy that gave him $15. He's going to serve you next. And then, when you're in that environment, you don't want to wait around 15 minutes to get a drink. You want fast service. So that's a little thing. But yeah, no, if someone does good service, definitely tip them. Final thoughts. All right, here we go. You have to dream. You have to have dreams and goals. You need to plan, and you need to make things happen. Don't just meander through life. Always work towards something. A big vacation, a big payoff, something you really want. And you get one chance in life. This is what sucks. The way society is built, there's no rehabilitation. You do something stupid, and that's it. You get one chance. The smallest thing can wreck you. Work hard, save and invest smart, play hard, play safe too, and enjoy life. The world is abundant. I know it doesn't seem like that, but if you want it, you can get it. You have to work hard to get it. And then experiences are better than stuff. Rack up the experiences, travel and other things like that. Now, the world's going to come at you and it'll run you over. But when you try and do something, it'll feel very static. Nothing happens. You've got to push to make things happen. You got to act. Marketing and people. Again, no one gets success without people, and no one can reach people without marketing efforts in business or just in dealing. Communication. I know we've had this conversation before. You're very good. You can always get better. Never stop improving your person-to-person communication skills. And then, if things start to go crazy, just track it. Just make a spreadsheet, throw things down, keep track of things over time. Even if you don't know what you're doing or the best way to organize it, you have to track something before you can see patterns and make solutions. So don't be afraid to do that. And try to understand all the moving parts. I managed a $27 million institution when I was on the school board with 8 other people. There's 9 on the board, but still. And as complicated as that organization is, things, once you step away and look at the big picture, it was still kind of simple. What's coming in? What's going out? What are we paying for? What are we getting? It's really track stuff. Care very little about what others think. I mean, rich people don't care what you think about them. That's for sure. 2 or 3 people in your life care what they think. Other than that, don't be the person that tries to impress people. It's no fun. Be a kind and gentle leader and ruthlessly crush your enemies. Ideally, you won't have any enemies. And I know a lot of this stuff sounds narcissistic. A lot of this stuff is me. But guess what? No one's going to be looking out for you. You've got to fix you. And if you're going to try and help someone, you've got to be in a good place. You can't help others if you're not in a good place. You need to be in a good place financially. You need to be stable. And then you can really help others. And you should. But you can't do that putting yourself at huge risk either. And then, you know, when Pop-Up told me, it was the first item on this. The only thing Pop-Up ever gave me was keep money aside so you don't have to go in debt when you need it, because you're going to need it. And he was right. And that's all he told me. And it's not a knock on him. That's all he knows. Pop-Up worked for state government all his life. And we had what we didn't want for anything. We didn't have a lavish childhood, but it was good. And he worked paycheck to paycheck his whole life. And that's not what I'm doing. That's not what you're going to do. But learn your own path along the way. And then when you have your own son or daughter, or sons and daughters, you add to this and then you give it to them. And now we're getting into general life advice. I'm going to end this video. Look for that video here coming up.